we in India have our own indigenous scope at this point in time, just attempting to match something close to where we have just seen. And we heard Dr. Pandey's question about clarity and vision. So we're taking this Indian scope or endoscope from the biorad, and it's adding just one more dimension to flexible ureteroscopy in our operation theaters. Thank you for this opportunity. So we have just evolved with an experience that we had in the era of semi-rigid scopes, where we're using so-called bent scopes to enter the upper and the middle calyx at times. And we understood the evidence that we needed flexible ureteroscopes in cases which were small stones in various calyces. And in the last 2 decades, we were stepping into the era of expectations of both the patients as well as colleagues who work between the thighs the whole day, looking at clearing the stones completely. But we know that if we have to get there where we wanted to get, we had to climb on shoulders of the best in the industry and the best of leaders who were thought-provoking and looking at various aspects of medical science and getting us to a level where we wanted to reach. So close to 2 decades ago, RIRS was a dream, and the dream was waiting for a reality to happen. And we see the kind of changes which have happened in the last 5 presentations, which give us an idea that we have actually come at a ride in this country and world, and urology is so close to technology at the highest level. So urology as a specialty in each country has evolved to such levels where we understood as urologists and acquired technologies in AI with very, very high levels. That means we were not in the bottom of the alphabetical order as you, but we made paradigm shifts in our subject. We looked at moving from very unknowns and vagaries to real knowns and real capabilities that we have today in India and the world in urology. So looking at the words that I used, the experience we had from bent ureteroscopes and trying to be flexible ureteroscope surgeons in that era, and in the era where we had failed accesses and we would try and attempt for a long time and would finally leave a stent and come back because the scopes were large, and preliminary stenting was almost required in many cases where in 30 seconds we would abandon a scopy because the ureters were very tight. Looking at the evidence that we have now, given this subject an RIRS subspecialty stature at this point in time, partly because leaders both man the urologists and machine the technology has helped us to move forward. We're also looking at an era which has already evolved, which means disposable digital scopes, which could be single use, as we saw the leaders speak about, or possibly reuse, which looks like in times to come, if I have finished the first case in 20 minutes and I've been given 4 hours, I would like to reuse it in some way which could be safe both for the surgeon as well as. We are inching into miniaturization to very heavy levels, and just heard that 7.5 is coming to the world, and we're looking at almost complete clearance for the reasons of legalities and reasons of patients' expectations. If that is what we are, we between the thighs look forward to a single, all-in-one, capable, comfortable and convenient scope which could help us move forward. And that's how RIRS has got revolutionized and revitalized, because we have taken it forward to very high levels. So when the leaders were making changes in flexible ureteroscopies in various countries and in various societies by miniaturizing, changing to better optics, getting into completely high definition, getting the working channels improved, costs were being cut down and everything was happening around, and we're looking at durability of scopes, which could even go on the first or the last of its ability. A new dimension was being added on disposables, and that is where pure disposables did walk in. Disposables or a single-use scope did walk in. They came in from the outer world to our country, and we've been using it with a lot of pride. There were a lot of short durable times as defined by the set times that we had, and there were limitations of its use, sparingly being used across the world. The accessories required for these were newer because the channels were shorter, and that was the beginning of a new era when we actually were trying to wake up. And somebody in the boundaries of this country was actually dreaming to reach that level, which means that we were looking at somebody who was attempting to change and bring about a change that could negotiate these difficult curves and not make it look like an end of the world. And if that was what was happening around, I would quote that they say Elvis Presley never wanted to be a singer. He wanted to revolutionize music. At Biorad, it was something of that kind. If they were having a dream, they were having a big one, as big as what Biorad thought about. That means they too had a mini Elvis Presley within themselves, and they thought it's time to let him out. Last year, when they were attempting to do this impossible to possible, attempting to bring about a completely reachable or a reusable scope, which finally is disposable by the timelines that this constraint to, it looked like they probably would give us what could be an Indian indigenous medical company attempting to bring about the dreams of making India champion in urology. The kind of disposable scope that came in initially was 9.9 French. There were 3 urologists in this country who attempted to use it and found it very difficult, and we had to actually put stents of 6 French and wait for a few months before we could use it. But we found that there was a highway of the channel that they had created. They looked at the clarity and the quality of the images, and they went on to second generation over the next 4 months. Brought it to a 9 French working telescope. So just giving you an idea, because this is the industry session, they had a mission. The mission was to manufacture and innovate, to bring about education, and bring about education to our junior colleagues and students who possibly, with these Ferraris that we drive every day at stores and Olympus, and never give it to our junior colleagues in the second and third year of training, possibly could get a chance to train as a RI or a surgeon during their training days. So this is a company which has actually reached all across. That I speak on behalf of the country session and look at their output from Pune and from Bangalore. We looked at that in the last 2 decades that they have been there. They looked into, from the inception, moving ahead towards collaboration and R&D, take it to very high levels of manufacture expansion, and finally to give it ready for future availability. The kind of products that has been used and created, which gives us a pride to be looking at the scope that I personally use and my colleagues pan-country use it, is about the consumables and rubbing in the R&D to levels which has reached what we are capable and proud of. A complete end-to-end in-house solution of being able to manufacture that product, which I have used 2 of these scopes, and many of my colleagues have actually finished 2 already. Looks like a ride to a generation which I would like to show you by small videos as to what does it look like. That means the entire workup of manufacturing from a clean environment to be looking into a complete disposable of the same thing from the 2 facilities that they have. The urologist back in the home city of Pune, the Pune Urology Society, took up its own challenge to be a part of the training program for this new indigenous Indian scope, which actually brings about a surgeon academy for these individuals. Which means that the Indian scope called endoscope, which is a flexible, digital, reusable, disposable scope, came into being launched at 9 French and not 9.9 French. The 9 French is a 670mm device, which is a single channel. To me, it looks like a highway with a 3.3 French working channel, with a dual flexion of 270 degrees on both sides, and allows a chip on tip like anybody else. We don't use the blue band nanotechnology that they have on this, but it looks to me as if it is the lightest of the ones that is in the arena on disposables at this point in time. That's how they carved into bringing about a versatile deflection till it breathes to the end. The last scope breathes 19.5 hours, and the other one breathes 20 hours, and we could maintain deflections to that level when we went to the lower levels. So the entire control unit plus the mechanism of use of this scope comes in a short video which I have incorporated like my previous colleague. Can I have the sound on this? So gather the entire assembly is in Pune as an indigenous scope. While they're working on coming to the next generation of 8.2, they're attempting to also bring about miniaturization of the highway that they have given us 3.3 French, which possibly may not be required because what we have as G4 requires only 2.2 French. gave us a chance to actually look at this instrument altogether when we did start in the early days. And the three of us in the department with experience ranging from Dr. Vijay, 25 years plus, myself and Dr. Ismail with last 10 years of his work in urology. We looked at all three of us attempting to use this as a pilot project for the scheme of the three that we had acquired. And since the early days, till having used the two telescopes, these are all images which have been caught on to start with a telephone, and then we show you the real live images. It has only helped us to move to the level where we have been able to, in a pre-stented case, be able to take it without a disposable sheath like the one which Ismail just demonstrated, and be able to do. In a rare case where we are able to actually pre-distend and dilate on the table, we are able to take it at times for a single stone compared to fragmentation. So looking at the clarity that we have had and the liberty that we had in terms of it being reusable and disposable, we move to the step of attempting to being able to. So that's a real time directly recorded from the camera head onto the recording device. So this possibly is the first hour of the usage. We don't record and keep all, but this is the first hour of the usage directly recorded. And there are 4th hour and 16th hour usage recorded too, which look as clear in its vision also. This helped us to use keep our FlexXC as a standby and be able to rapidly use this to give juniors a chance to be able to use it and pick up this in the early years of training too, partly because we knew that it had limited time and it could probably use as an impact on the training progress. A difficult case where we could not have taken, there was a 6mm stone which we had to remove at the level of PUJ. But this ureter would not have allowed us anything. There was always a confusion as to what do we do for this with the PUJ obstruction. Patient was not ready for anything else other than a ureteroscopy, an attempt at a flexible ureteroscopy with the team standing by. This allowed us to move in freely. It was an attempt to look at, could this be a game changer, and possibly we could go in, negotiate, move inside, and probably clear it up. So looking at complexities and difficulties of cases on an indigenously made scope which had never been used before, looking at negotiating these difficult fixed curves in the ureter, which is a surprise to us on the operating table, gave us an idea that we could use it for A to Z of the cases that we use for flexible ureteroscopy, which in the past, as Professor Mani said, the use of Ferrari, now indigenously use of the Maruti or an indigenously used scope. Now this comes with, they do have a retrieval system where they have the stone cones, they have those G-paws which help us to move forward and use it indigenously to a level where at Kokilaben Hospital, the contemporaries with 4 hours work time technology which we had used in the past as a department before we embarked onto the Indian-made endoscope. Amidst 3 urologists who have completed now 2 scopes, 90.5 hours and 20.5 hours plus, the 3rd scope of the batch was opened last week, which means that we bought 3 scopes together as a part of the scheme that probably was handed to us. The cases have lasted anything between a single pickup stone to bilateral ureteroscopy. and roughly I gather this is a rough indication that he may have used a scope for reuse as much as 17 to 24 times. Time is money, and time is always a money. To be able to use in more cases than in the 4-hour working contemporaries, after having used it as a single scope for 20 minutes in the first case, what would we do with it? Able to impart training to junior colleagues with urology residents in second and third years who are confident enough to use the scope and start the case. 21 hours could be a lead time, but that really matters when it puts you to ease, because you know you have got a time frame where you need to achieve. That scale of repair that we needed to replace and probably wait for the Ferrari to come back from repair. Waiting times for a fresh ureteroscope is not required anymore because the scheme allowed us to probably buy 3. Before we complete the third, we could get the rest of it. So truly, finally, RIRS is walking the talk that we don't have to stop this work 7 days a week. So while at Biorad they were innovating and spreading the good word, the new digital era flexible cystonephroskop is already in the market, which comes with the same kind of vision that we have evaluated. And an indigenous thulium fiber is also in its final process of development. And we're looking at an attempt to bring about indigenous developments while everybody ran the race. There have been Make in India campaigns in various fields in urology, which we have known that we have actually started using and attempting. We are looking forward to probably finally at the end of it reaching a location where good thing did take time, but it came directly from India. In other words, today's mighty oak is just standing where it is, finally where it was not, and it had its ground at some point. So while India is glittering and shining all around, and India glitters in urology in all aspects and spheres of subspecialties, the power to pulverize, powder, grind, grade, and atomize, and finally crush with good vision and continue to use a disposable scope as a reusable till the point in time that we can use it with extreme degree of safety on the mechanics of sterilization. I think it's time that we woke up to this situation of living in an era of stress, era of innovations, era of competitions, era of evidence-based medicine, an era of enormity of disease and data that we have. Flexible ureteroscopy is now being chosen by patients who had one stone and did form a second stone. They don't want to go through the era of another ureteric colic. So if you ask a patient, do you want to go through ureteric colic anymore? He said, I've formed a second stone 6 years later. Can you do something about the 7 and 6 millimeter stone? And it behoves to us that we do flexible ureteroscopy and clear this stone. So setting standards of that high order would go a long way in safety of our patients and Indian urology scenario. It possibly looks that endoscope could be a game changer. We don't know how and when. So when we look at the changes happening and the awareness happening today, and there's a need probably to look it forward and take it to a next level where we can manage the good teamwork, where probably man and machine would combine together to miniaturize scopes made in India to implement and truly make a challenge is what we seek for. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sanjay. Any questions or comments?
Thank you, Sanjay, for a lovely presentation, but you have not spoken about the economics of this tool.
Of scope. So a 670 millimeter scope, which actually can be used flex on both sides, actually has been used by us and centers around, where the scope bends on both sides in the early days and to the end. It has a 3.3 French working channel, which allows me to use a 2.2 French basket to be able to grasp anything around. The scope we use as a reusable scope is sterilized and kept with the sister concern, the Flex X2, all the time. I think that's what I want.
What does it cost?
The cost is something which possibly will be difficult to say because they keep changing their cost. I gather the control unit comes with 3 scopes. The cost at which we had bought at Kokilaben hospital was 80,000 per scope with 2.5 lakhs as a control unit. I'm sure this could possibly be changing around with dynamics that's happened around, but way back we bought it at 80,000 per scope, 3 scopes, and the control unit cost is 2.5 lakhs. We are into the 3rd scope right now, which we opened up last.
Any other questions?
Any questions? Dr. Kanda, you have seen all 3 scopes. As you are a champion of RIRS, I want some final comments from you, listening all 3 scopes.
Reason-wise, I think this BioRed scores on, that's my experience, BioRed scores on every aspect, because as you see that the vision was beautiful. I have used only in 2 cases, but it's fantastic. There is no comparison as compared to Busenberg, I can say. I do not want to comment about the lithovi because I was the first to use lithovi in the country. It was very well, but this biored is really, really good. That's what I can say. While the intrarenal maneuverability is the same, the caliber is the problem. The one problem I don't know whether the company people are there or not, because this scope, when we supply, it is supplied unsterile. And I don't know, this is what was my impression was. And secondly, whether you can do, because I don't believe in putting the scope in a sidex, because it's not a good method of sterilization, and the post-RIRS infection is a big problem. So if this scope can be, I suggested to the company people that you can, if you can do a plasma sterilization.
So that's what is happening.
So if this can happen, I think probably it will be a game changer.
Yeah, so what is happening right now is a plasma sterilization. We have opened the last scope last week, which actually comes with a sterilized pad. So in the early days when we found the scope was an open scope, we never knew what it was. But I gather the last 2 scopes we opened up, which have come from the company, are plasma sterilized, and they are actually a sterilized one, which is what the company claims to. As regards to sterilization, we don't sterilize it anymore with the sidex which we saw. Those were early days in August 2019. Now we use it, now we scope them in the chambers as we do for the FlexX 2 and C.
Dr. Prashant Pandey. Yeah, Dr. Ramesh.
Yeah. Sanjay, one of the reasons why all of us in surgery use disposable consumables and instruments is the fear of infection. That was the concept by which we use disposables. Now we are getting disposables which are reusable. And they have fixed a time frame of 21 hours in these scopes. Now, why is this time frame? It's a lock which is made manually. I mean,
so it's a software.
Yeah, it's a software.
Wonderful question.
So I don't understand why they would want to put a fix on the time. If it comes for 10 hours, fine. If it comes for 30 hours, it's fine. Leave the consumer to use it. If they are really thinking about a reusable disposable. So it is something in the marketing issue which they need.
I'll answer you that. Wonderful question. Number one is why 21 hours? So 21 hours comes because when it was initially made as 9.9 French, they kept it 21 hours open looking at the optics and use, and they found that beyond 21 hours of just being kept alone was not good enough in terms of its use and all. That means we had used a scope which was used by us and then kept and then reused. 21 hours was too long a time now. 4.4 hours or 4 hours which has been given by our contemporaries is that is the maximum they have left the software on. The engineers who actually worked in the company, I did talk to the company from Boston Scientific, and they leave it for that amount of hours and look at both the use and without use the scope's capability and durability. So 21 hours has been just a very arbitrary time. It's a very, it's completely a software development issue. As regards the reusable, we also use our FlexX C and FlexX 2. So they are still reusable. The only difference I or my colleagues have found in this place is, we know that the scope has to go. Compared to a FlexX C, which I want to hold on till I want to use in the last day. It could actually go on the first case or the last case. So I don't think that actually is a major issue on. We buy a 5 or 4 lakh instrument. If it goes on the day one, I think it's over forever. Compared to, we know that after 24 hours, we need to keep this scope. So both of them are reusable for that.
Dr. Prashant, you have used all 3 scopes. Your comments?
I agree with Kandar because what he has mentioned, that the reusable ones, nothing to be compared with that. But that is what I feel, and also these kind of disposable flexes, when we use, they have got a lot of limitations. Especially, you have to have a fiber optic scope for difficult lower calyceal entry. Do you agree? So this is not the answer for everything. One has to have at least 2 or 3 scopes with him to get away difficult situations. So what I said, comparing all these 3 I have used this cushion, I have used lithoView and this one. I find this is quite promising, this BioRed, because they are easy to use, and also as far as cost is concerned, I think one can go for it. But the difficulty with this is that it's a little stout. And for negotiating into the different classes takes time and difficulty, requires a lot of experience. So I would say lithoView is the best as far as my knowledge goes, and also lithoView is the best because the maneuver, the vision, the peripheral can be compared with any reusable digital scopes. But somehow this is also a promising thing And one thing I can't understand, the so-called narrowband, what is the use of it? Still I have not understood.
We haven't used it. We haven't used it.
So comparing all these things, lithotripsy is the first number one, and you can compare cushion with these things. But cushion, because if they come out with 7.5 friends, nothing like it.
Sanjay, wonderful presentation. What I want to know is, how are you disposing this of? Because my concern is, as more and more we go towards the disposable scope or even a short-term reusable scope, within no time each department will have a huge number. This is all plastic and everything. So what is there any been thought about how this will be disposed of? Because I think it will be
it's a huge issue.
it will be a significant environmental hazard. So unless
It is.
we think about it, we'll create a problem. And I think before we get onto this, I think it's very high time to think about it.
That's a very thought-provoking thing, sir. Both sterilization as well as disposal.
Sanjay. Now, if you see the technology involved in a disposable scope and a regular set like XC, all of them are fiber optics, all of them got a chip at the tip. So, how much of difference is there in technology in both these two kinds of scope? Probably Kandar, who has used all these scopes, can answer this question too. Is there so much of difference in technology that the cost needs to be so different?
So cost has been different. Maybe
Why is the cost so different? Sorry? Yeah, even in this it's chip or dip. That's exactly what I'm saying. If in a disposable scope, you're able to get it at 1/10 the cost, why is the regular digital scope so expensive? The technology is the same.
This question is wonderful. Why does a Ferrari cost a Ferrari and Maruti cost a Maruti when both of them have got only 4 wheels?
I think we should close the session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
We'll be waiting for.
Okay, we're requesting, thank you all the speakers for sticking to time.